Look, Levy, I know that you were away from the NFL for a year, and that during that year, you haven't really been paying attention at all to league-related news, but we simply cannot bring in Richie Incognito. Can't do it.
Look, all I know is 2 years ago, this guy was a Pro Bowler. I don't see any reason why he can't help our team.
Look, Love, he's a bad guy, all right? I mean, you really need to read up on all the bad things he's been doing over the last year. Hell, before he sat down in the office out there, he punched Gary in the eye.
Well, who doesn't want to punch Gary in the eye? He looks like a bootleg Mark Trestman. Now get me Richie.
Cheryl, send him in. I think you're gonna regret this.
So I was late, Coach. My car stalled in the bad part of town. I ended up having to run into two like, what are you guys doing there? And I mean, they're running all over the place, throwing Samsonite luggage. And I was like, holy, they're burning crosses right in the middle of this quinceanera. I ordered 6 tacos, and they got care all over them. And I'm like, who that guy with the sombrero in the back there? And that's why I was asked to leave that children's birthday party. Box score starts.
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer.
My motto is simple: C's get degrees.
Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you, because I probably am.
Howard Collins for box score. Hello and welcome to the Box Score. I'm Brock in Los Angeles. They are the Danettes out in Milford, Connecticut. Richie Incognito just still a little rough around the edges. McLovin, if you're running a team, do you give a guy like that a chance?
I've thought long and hard about this, and if I have a young team, no. If I have a veteran team, yes. Like, if I was the Danettes, we're all old. We can handle Richie Incognito, but
could we?
I think so. I mean, basically, we're not far from Richie Incognito ourselves.
There is some bullying that goes on.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know if a 21-year-old would be susceptible to that.
Okay. Another player who might be in trouble is USC's Josh Shaw. And after his school released a story about a heroic rescue of his nephew, the school, much like a defensive back, is doing some backpedaling.
It's kind of turned from a feel-good story to a murky story. They put the brakes on because they had gotten some calls at USC that maybe someone named Josh Shaw had been involved in an incident at a Los Angeles apartment complex on the same night that the save at the swimming pool had taken place. The fact that the name came up on the same night in a situation where someone was seen running among a balcony at an elevated floor, has raised a lot of questions.
Yeah, it seems very questionable. It just sounds like a nice story, and you would hope that that he's telling the truth and he saved his 7-year-old nephew from drowning, and that's the reason why he jumped off a 2nd or 3rd floor balcony. But the more we're hearing about this, and more people are contacting the school and questioning exactly what went on. Was it a burglary, a domestic abuse case? There's just a lot of stuff floating around there, and if you subscribe to the where there's smoke, there's fire, getting a bad feeling about this whole story about saving his nephew.
There is some questioning, and it comes from the masters of deception. You guys, you question some of his tactics.
You can't make your cover story like a Bourne Identity, scene. You're jumping from the 2nd-story balcony to save a drowning kid? Come on, man.
Yeah. You should have had a better story for that.
Somebody said that to me yesterday.
You got to go medium. Like if you said I was opening the door of a restaurant for a bunch of nuns, and then one of the nuns shut the door on my finger, you're just a gentleman, and you were injured in the line of duty.
Hey, one of them pulled out a knife and cut you?
No, the door slammed on your thumb. There it is.
One of the nuns pulled out a knife. Yes, Fritzy.
Someone was picking on Rodney Harrison, and of course you had to come to his rescue, and you jumped in, and then a brawl broke loose.
Wait, really?
No?
Come on.
Poor guy. That's an absolute car crash of a comment. It was like, if you could just feel the air get sucked right out of the room, like, dude, what? You've got to defend. You got to defend Rodney Harrison with that, and then that's what happens, right?
I was a little too eager to join in, and as I'm saying what I'm saying, you can't get the vowels and consonants back out of the atmosphere and back down your throat, and you're like, well, just the guys are being funny. They're coming up with some wild ideas as to different lies and knives and nuns and all these things, and I just I totally blew that.
You can't go too big with the cover story, though, man. You can't go, saved a bunch of kids out of a burning building for why you were late for work. You got to keep it a little fender bender, you know? Like, keep it easy. Keep it low level where you're not going to draw too much attention. Jeepers.
Paul, you were trying to drop some good tips, bring it down to a medium level. Let's go to a more innocent time, as not to impugn you now, but what was one of the bigger lies you told as a kid?
Wow, a lot to sort through here. I wish I had more time. There was this old Jeep near an archery range my dad and his friends owned, and my friend Jeff Smith and I decided to take balls of mud and put rocks in them and throw it at this old Jeep. Well, we were on one side of this old Jeep, and it wasn't quite as old as we thought, and the other side had a for sale sign. We thought it was like abandoned on the side of the road. It was someone's Jeep for sale, and we broke some windows and stuff. It was really pretty bad vandalism. I think I was like 8 or 9. Our fathers found out we did it, or heard that we did it, or thought that we did it. And my friend Jeff took the bullet for me, and he said, no, it was just me. And I could hear him taking the bullet for me. And when my dad came up to me, he goes, were you with Jeff? Be honest, were you with Jeff? I said, nope. And I didn't get it, and Jeff got it bad.
Oof. Did you ever admit to that?
Nope.
Other than right now?
Inside my family, maybe, but my dad passed away a couple years later. He never found out, and because I saw what was happening to Jeff, and I wanted no part of that.
I once got. Oh, I'm sorry.
I just said I owe that guy. He took the big bullet for me.
I once got caught sneaking out of my buddy's house. I was sleeping over Chris Chocolate's house, and we were in like 7th grade, something like that. We snuck out, and I don't know. We're out smoking cigarettes or something stupid, and we got caught. And we were supposed to go to a basketball camp like 2 days later, and his parents wouldn't let him go. And they were like, we're not going to tell your parents. We'll leave that up to you. And I was just like, all right, cool, thanks. And never said anything to my parents. And so I went to basketball camp without him. I swear I've never, ever, I haven't thought about that in a long time. And I definitely never told my parents, who are finding out for the first time. So I'm sorry. I was with Chris Chocolates that night that we got caught sneaking out of the house.
Did Chris give you a hard time?
No, man, later on, well, I can't get into that. He did bad things later on that definitely ended our friendship.
Well, that's where you guys went separate. If you would have gone down the same road and missed that basketball camp, you'd be right down there with him.
I would have gone, instead I was a liar and didn't fess up to the truth and just went on to other things. He was the one who was bad.
I've always said truth is overrated.
I remember in 3rd grade, we were having some kind of limerick contest, and the best ones were going to appear like on the elementary school cover or the little booklet that goes out every month. And I had memorized a limerick. There was a man from Peru who dreamed he was kissing his shoe and awoke in the night in a terrible fright, found out it was perfectly true. I just thought that was a really cool limerick in 3rd grade, and I ended up writing that during class. And next thing I know, that got picked as one of the winning limericks, and there was a picture of like a guy kissing his shoe, and like right on the cover of this booklet that goes out to all the kids and parents, Todd Fritz, class 3, 311.
You're lucky there wasn't internet
It was my
back then,
limerick.
man.
It was bad. And the only other thing I remember lying about was in camp, there was some kind of weird dental device laying on someone's towel, and I didn't know what it was, and me and this other kid were looking at it, and we decided it would be funny to pick it up and just throw it in the pool. And then all of a sudden we find out later in the day, some kid's hysterical crying that they can't find their bite plate for their braces, and that's, I guess, what that device ended up being. And it's really expensive, and you got to go through all kinds of things to get that fitted. And the kids just hysterical. They had to drain the pool, and then they finally found it. I don't even know if it was still usable at that point, but I never.
Fritzy, can I ask you a question with the limerick plagiarization situation? When you won this honor, did your parents congratulate you? Did your friends and family congratulate you?
I got congratulations, and I did ultimately.
When you got the congratulations, what did you do? Did you accept it?
I accepted it wholeheartedly. Days later, out of guilt, I did mention it to the immediate family, but at that point, what
was the response from your family?
They were very disappointed. Like, well, how could you do such a thing? You got to tell the teacher right away. Why didn't you?
Did you tell the teacher?
I don't believe I did.
You did, or you don't believe you did, or you didn't?
It's been a long time, but I would bet that I kept that to myself and accepted the accolades for a limerick that I took right out of a limerick and poetry book.
You're a horrible person.
Horrible. Worst thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. I'd like to jump in on this conversation, but I honestly am racking my brain. I never got in trouble as a kid, and I never lied about anything as a kid. So
When did you start
Better
lying?
man than us.
I'm with you, McLovin. I never lied. I just got caught all the time, and I just got caught all the time. I'm sorry. There's nothing to tell here. Stay with us. After this, we're climbing a stairway to the playoffs.
And the committee of 13 will tell us they've seen everything. They'll want it all to be so nice, just like Condoleezza Rice.
Ruining the song.
Welcome back to the box score. You guys giving Rick Neuheisel a little help on the air drums there with the song Stairway to the Playoffs. Seton, how awesome is it that Rick calls up with these football songs?
Oh, man, are you kidding me? It's great. And I think that hopefully other people don't start stealing it from him. I know he made an appearance last year bringing his guitar, but all of a sudden it's going to be, and hey, here comes Coach Neuheisel and his guitar. And no way, dude. That's our bit. We're doing it. And his songs actually keep getting better and better. I'm really impressed at the quality of songs he's picking. They're a little long, but they're hard songs to play and sing along to. So kudos.
A lot of college football teams, Stairway gives you a lot of room to reference a lot of teams, so he did so awesome.
Right now, there's a 2-to-1 bet that the next song is going to be a Meatloaf song.
Paradise
by the Dashboard.
Yeah, Dashboard Light.
So, let me sleep on it.
Baby, baby, let me sleep on it. Well, it's clear that he does a great job with these songs, and maybe he should write some words to the box score theme. Here's one of the best lines from his song today.
Yes, they're climbing a stairway to playoffs. In Norman, Oklahoma, there's a championship for Roma, but they'll have to beat Bevo and Baylor. Coach Bob's been on a roll, talking last year's Sugar Bowl, but no title game could be recipe for failure.
I love the idea of Rick Neuheisel sitting there with a little pen and paper and his guitar. He's got Oklahoma. He's like, Oklahoma, Aroma. And he's like, yes. And because, I mean, it's a great line. And, you know, the guy probably took a while to do this. There's a lot of teams, a lot of angles he could go with. He had that Jameis Winston line later, and it was fantastic. He really crushed it.
You guys kept the good times rolling as you rolled down memory lane and talked about your first kisses. Fritzy, let me go with you on this one. Have any of your old flames reached out to you since being on TV?
Unfortunately not. Usually I'm initiating it saying, hey, just turn on this channel or put on this station or go to the website. So no, just some old friends. But as far as like old flames, haven't received any of that. I'm kind of disappointed that Lori Greenblatt and Lana and Simone and a few of the other ones haven't made their way towards me through social media.
Even with all the shout-outs that you
would think. I've tried.
7 years of
desperately tried
Simone,
with my shout-outs. I've blatantly let them know what I'm doing and where I am and how to reach me on various platforms, but shut down, unfortunately.
That would nullify the restraining order if they contacted you, so I'm sure they can't do so.
That is.
I've had, actually, believe it or not, I've had 3 different girls, I mean guys too, but girls that I've known over the years, like guys from high school and grade school, but girls from grade school, high school, and college just text and say, or through Facebook, I guess, and say, hey, I saw you on the show, or an email. And so it's kind of neat. You never know who's watching. But it's usually like, my husband has been watching you for 4 years. I walked in the room and said, hey, I know that dude. It's not that they've been watching for years.
McLovin, who's the most random person from your past that has reached out to you since Against the Grain has made you the megastar?
Wow, I get a lot of what Paulie was saying, where people are like, "Oh, is that you on TV out of nowhere?" Most random. I'm gonna have to say that my rabbi growing up reached out. No, that never happened. Actually, I don't have a true one. I mean, most people are intimidated by my stardom, Brock. And they don't really like to say anything to me. Most of the people, when I go home to Philly, I'm a big deal. So like, they kind of play it on the down low, pretend they don't know who I am.
Brock, I had a high school teacher. His name was Mr. Waddell. He was an advanced English teacher, and somehow I got put into his class because my sister was in his class a couple years earlier. And I would sit in the back of the class reading Sports Illustrated and not doing anything. And he'd be like, you're not going to go anywhere if you don't do the work, if you're not doing anything like this. I'd be like, I don't want to bother you. I just want to sit back and read my Sports Illustrated. And years later, when I got invited to come back to my school for a reunion thing, he sent me a note and said, I guess you were right with the SI thing, and that was the entire note, Mr. Waddell, so it was kind of funny.
It all paid off, you know your sports. However, If you knew your wife as little about your wife as these guys know about each other, you'd probably be sleeping on the couch. Know your row, next. Welcome back to the Box Score. You guys have had some cool guests over the years, and they keep on coming back thanks to Fritzy, the booker, greatest booker of the planet. We want to know who you guys would hang out with given the chance. Let's find out in this edition of
Know Your Row!
Let's begin in the back row. McLovin, what show regular did Fritzy say he wanted to hang out with?
You know, obviously with Fritzy, you'd think female. Brooklyn Decker.
Was it Brooklyn Decker?
Any DP regular guest. Immediately I start thinking females, like a Chrissy Teigen with her personality and looks. Chrissy Teigen would come to mind. Outside of that, that'll be my answer, but outside of that, Charles Barkley would be a lot of fun to hang out. Yeah, I was debating on that. Brooklyn definitely came to mind, and she was very cool recently to do the ALS challenge. But yeah, if you put everything together, that's a good way to go with her. You know, looks, personality, charm, and the little Santa outfit decorating the tree. Got to go Chrissy Teigen there.
Maybe John Legend plays you a song. Seton, who did Polly choose?
Holy smokes. Show regular?
I'm not sure who I chose, though. I don't even know.
For some reason, I want to say John Smoltz. Does he count?
He's a regular.
Who do we even? Peter King? Chris Mannix.
All people I've hung out with before.
Yeah, I know.
I'm trying to think who you'd pick.
Seed likes to throw out multiple answers, by the way, then claim one of the early answers. Right?
Now, guess your final
I always give a definitive one. I always do. Lie. Pejorative. Crappy statement. How about final answer is Mari Stoudemire?
Was it Amari Stoudemire?
Just looked at the jersey.
I would like to hang out with David Faraday. One of the most fascinating guys, funny guys, a good time. Yeah, I know you're going to say Landon Donovan or guys like that. Well, I've hung out with Landon many times, old friends. David Faraday.
Yeah, Faraday is as funny as it gets. I can't imagine him socially. I haven't hung out with him, but I was amongst Dan and Faraday when they were hanging out. I wasn't really invited.
That answer was a surprise to you, too, wasn't it?
David Faraday?
Did you know that you said David
If you would have
Faraday?
asked me to guess my own answer, I probably wouldn't have got it.
Right.
Faraday, very funny, very sober, just like Fritzy. Fritzy, who did McLovin say he wanted to hang out with?
Only because of the Philly connection and that story about the stolen hat and the personality. I'm going to have to.
Andrew Toney.
I don't feel very strongly about this, but I'm going to go Charles Barkley for Andrew McLovin Perloff.
McLovin nodding his head because he thinks you may have got this wrong. Was it Charles Barkley?
If I could hang out with any DP show guest, it would definitely be Shay and Irving. Because I really want Shay to like me, and I think if he hung out with me, he would start to like me.
Caller.
How could I possibly have guessed that?
He's not a guest.
I thought you guys asked caller.
What?
Give me a chance.
For the first time, I think I'm going to side with Fritzy. McLovin, that's a whiff by you.
Dude, you're blaming me? How do you know the guy who runs the camera and asks the questions didn't say, I mean, he obviously didn't stop me when I said
You know, he might have said caller, maybe.
He might have said
I think
caller.
he said regular.
By the way, Shane Irving has had guest-like segments. He's practically a guest.
That's fair.
The guy is a betting analyst. I'm not going to back down.
I'll give the guy, though, who filmed that a lot of credit for not correcting you.
Yeah, that's good producing.
Caller and regular both have consonants and vowels, easy to mix up. And finally, Polly, who did Seton choose?
This is a toughie. I'm usually wrong on these. I'm gonna guess Darius Rucker, great musician, fun guy.
Was it Darius Rucker?
Well, I like Chrissy Teigen a lot. She's kind of the first person that popped into my head. Yeah, Chrissy Teigen. Why not? Yeah, who doesn't want to hang out with Chrissy Teigen? She's rad. Likes to have a drink or five. She's super funny. Checks off all of my boxes.
Yeah, that's my bad. I had music here and hot women and booze here, and I should have known my audience better.
You can listen to music.
Yes.
You know,
You're right. My bad.
Sorry, no one wins today, but that's how we like Know Your Row. Oh, and by the way, Fritzy, just by mentioning Chrissy Teigen and wanting to hang around with her, that violates your restraining order. So just a heads up there, pal. Stay with us after this. We're going to bid the boys a tearful farewell as they head to Canada. Don't look back, Fritzy. Don't look back.
I am Adam Sandler. You are watching The Box Score on Audience, channel 239. It makes you feel good.
Welcome back to The Box Score. Thank you, Adam Sandler. We'll be showing best ofs the next 2 days because you guys are headed north to the land of Moosehead Beer to shoot a movie with Adam Sandler. Paulie Seaton is leaving the land of the home of the brave for the first time to shoot a movie. Do you have a topper for that? For your first time you got a passport?
Oh, yeah, I got a pretty good story. First time I left the country, I think I was 14 or 15. I went to Germany on a class trip. We took KLM Airlines and the Dutch stewardesses, Fritzy. I mean, they're
really?
KLM. I can't support them more so. We were supposed to sleep on this overnight flight, and all the boys on this trip, 15-year-old boys, we just stayed up trying to talk to the stewardesses.
That is awesome.
Fritzy McLovin, you have a first-time story about your passports?
It's really weird. First time I was on a trip. I did an exchange in Germany. So me and Paulie might have been there exactly the same time. We might have crossed paths on Kurfürstendamm in Berlin. Who knows?
Dude, it's like I lived in a completely different world. In high school, my class trip was to Baltimore.
We did Baltimore too. The aquarium. That was awesome.
I got to go to Baltimore.
So this is the first time you're leaving our country?
Yeah, it's the first. Like even remotely close to going near the border. Yeah.
By the way, Toronto is the most American city in the world. It's not like going to Tokyo.
But I got my passport though, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to Italy and I found it very bizarre. If you wanted to buy a bottle of water, that you have to buy this gigantic, huge glass bottle of water, and if you don't specifically say regular water, they give you a seltzer. And also that they don't believe in ice for some reason. I got dirty looks at least 3 different restaurants when I wanted my soda to have ice in it. They just don't believe in that. They serve everything at room temperature.
That's your entire impression of one of the great cultural hotbeds on
Pretty much. And they had there was some nice sightseeing involved, but room temperature and a lot of clothes hanging from the rafters at people's homes. I don't know if they have washers and dryers there, so that was a little odd.
By the way, I've been to Italy several times and had several small-sized bottles of water.
Did they? I got this giant bottle of water that I'm walking around town with, which was ridiculous.
My
it's
first
okay
time
to have
was
something
about
cold there.
8 years ago, I think it was, and we were taking a 3-day cruise down to Ensenada. And as I got on the boat, I was roomed with this one guy who was supposedly sober, and he didn't have his credit card, so I was like, that's fine, put him on my credit card. We're sharing the room. It couldn't be a problem. 5 minutes later, he was on the back of the boat toasting, I think, 6 to 7 Japanese businessmen with Jaeger shots. When we got to port, I think my tab was $600 to $700. And hey, I hope he's doing all right. Well, when you guys head north, I'm sure you're going to try to get plenty of FaceTime with Sandler, but just as a reminder, things might get a little awkward up there because of this.
I said to Fritzy, I said, Sandler that used a body double in there, and Fritzy said the following.
I don't think that's Sandler's body. I think that's just...
You think that's a body double?
Yes.
That's a slimmer down
they
version?
threw
his head on it?
Wait, you just call Sandler fat?
No, it just looks like a little bit of a slimmer down. I'm out of the next movie for sure.
Unfortunately, I know from these things, and there was a little huskiness there, and it looked like less muscle and more just enjoying a lot of good meals. But I'm certainly not one to talk. Hopefully, bygones are bygones, and we'll have a good time, and I won't get any dirty looks or attitudes. And I'll have to make sure that whatever I'm doing, not to screw up the scene as I did last time. This will definitely be my last Sandler movie if I don't stay out of the way and do the very basic things that are being asked of me, and not find a way to mess it up.
Break a leg up there. Just as a point of clarification on my story, I'm going to take credit for about 50% of that bar tab. But the guy was thrown in rehab.
Black, we already knew.
He was thrown in rehab by his family as soon as they got back. Okay. So, I mean, I hope he's doing better these days. Fritzy, who is on tomorrow?
Tomorrow, Notre Dame football coach Brian Kelly will join us. We'll also be joined by NFL Network host Rich Eisen. And as Dan likes to say, possibly some other surprises, but Kelly and Eisen so far Thursday.
All right, thank you guys. Good luck up north. Thank you for watching the Box Score. Set your DVR or tune in weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, only on Audience Channel 239, right here on DirecTV. Go Canada, yeah.
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer. My motto is simple: C's get degrees.
Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you, because I probably am.
Hey! Thanks for watching the Box Score. Holy cow!